What is up, guys? Welcome to this video. My name is Lucas, and in this one I'm going to be telling you how to quit any habit. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe because it helps my channel to grow, and I greatly appreciate that. It doesn't matter what your habit is. What I'm going to be telling you in this video is basically timeless information that will help you to quit any habit. Now, first, what is a habit? A habit is basically a pattern of behavior, if we want to sum it up in very simple terms. And I guess you would divide what you would believe good habits to be versus bad habits. And generally, we agree on what good and bad habits are. So we can say eating healthy food is a good habit, whereas eating junk food is a bad habit. And bad habits are typically defined by things that bring us down or don't serve us, and we continuously do them. Now, before I really get into this video, you can check the description just for some of my bullet point notes so you can see what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And I'm going to be explaining each of the bullet points. So before I even tell you how to quit the habit, I need to tell you one thing. And that is that you need to embrace this moment exactly as it is first. Before we go into any sort of, oh, this is what's broken about me, and this is what I have to change, you have to embrace what is happening right now first. You have to embrace whatever situation you're actually in and don't fight it. Just simply let it exist. And I also want you to simply reflect on how the habits make you feel. So basically, we're just going to observe what's happening without any mental filter or without any judgment. Because typically when people want to remove bad habits from their life, they say, I have X, Y, and Z wrong with me and I'm screwing up. And it's usually this very weak place that people come from. It's usually a place of just guilt. You know, you're just kind of guilting yourself for screwing up, and it kind of sucks. So first, you have to embrace this moment fully. Allow yourself to relax. Allow yourself to relieve yourself of any unnecessary body tension happening within you. And allow yourself to simply embrace whatever behavior you have been doing up until this point. And do not judge yourself for it. Just observe what you've been doing. Observe how it's made you feel. Observe how it's affected your clarity and your thinking. Just observe. That's it. Just get in touch with being aware. And this awareness is going to be key for removing any habit that you don't want to have in your life. Moving on, I'm going to talk about how a habit forms in the first place. And in order to get rid of a bad habit, we're going to have to put something else in its place, because you're just going to have sort of, free time. So instead of eating cookies, what else are you going to eat? So I hope you see where I'm going with this. Instead of maybe watching too much Netflix, what else are you going to do? So I have to tell you how to wire in a good or bad habit, how they even form in the first place. Basically, what happens is either the bad habit has been downloaded into us ever since we were young, like a kid, and we couldn't really discern much for ourselves, and we were very impressionable, or it was repetitively done, and what I mean by repetitively done is, think of a weightlifter just lifting weight rep after rep after rep, and that's basically how a habit was formed. It was done habitually. It's a habit. And the only way to really get rid of a habit is to understand how they form, because by understanding how they form, we can understand how to actually get rid of them as well. So what happens is it basically gets programmed into our subconscious. And the way our subconscious works is it's basically wired to carry out a function that we wire into it, like walking or breathing or eating or thinking. And basically, a lot of our processes throughout the day are not conscious. They're actually either unconscious or just subconscious. They're just other aspects. There's some sort of below the threshold of awareness aspect of ourselves that is just carrying out a function. And in order to get rid of any habit or install a new habit, we have to be conscious of this mechanism at work if we really want to do it in an efficient way and in a way that gives us the maximum amount of clarity. So rewiring your subconscious mind, which I'm going to tell you how to do, and you can even check out my last video. It's titled, Are You On Autopilot? That'll help you out a lot for understanding the subconscious. So we really want to be rewiring this subconscious so that it serves us instead of it doesn't serve us. Because we can call all sorts of things a negative habit, like negative thinking or drinking too much or overeating or playing too much video games or Netflix or whatever. And basically this stuff has just been wired into us. Even stuff like emotional patterns like anxiety or depression, a lot of this stuff, there's a lot of causes for a lot of that kind of stuff. But if you're just a normal person, it's basically just been you wiring it into yourself, actually. That can be rather hard to understand, but a lot of emotional turmoil, emotional resistance, and just emotional pain has actually just been you wiring in dysfunctional ways of relating to emotions, just dysfunctional habits. Now, moving on to my third bullet point is just toxic habits are behavioral patterns. And we want to observe behavioral patterns as we're carrying them out. Let's say that your habit is eating too much cookies, okay? And you can replace this with whatever your habit is, whether you're even trying to quit smoking, although smoking's kind of hard to quit because it, a lot of habits, even eating cookies, it's manipulating certain receptors in your brain. It's actually really creating physiological responses. It's actually, some habits are significantly harder to get rid of, obviously. But basically, no matter what the habit is, some you'll need extra help with, especially like, a cocaine habit or something like that. But let's just say your habit is very general, like you play too much video games or, just very general bad habits that prevent you from doing what you want with your life. We want to just observe the behavioral pattern. Notice that whenever you're doing the bad habit and you actually know that, oh man, like I shouldn't be doing this, notice that you just go unconscious as you're doing it. Notice that you're not aware as you're doing it. You might think, what the hell is this guy talking about? I'm aware as I'm doing it, but you're actually not. You're actually deeply unconscious as you're carrying out this pattern. Because what's happening is your subconscious is just carrying out the function over and over again. And if we want to get rid of this pattern, we have to, one, be aware of the function as it's being carried out, and then have the intention to rewrite the script that is playing out. In my previous video, Are You on Autopilot, will help you a lot with this. So toxic habits are simply behavioral patterns. And really rewiring habits is very simple once you understand how they work. Once you observe them, especially in real time. That's the key, is observing it in your experience, not by believing what I say, but by actually doing the very hands-on sort of work. So right now, I want you to become aware of this present moment. I want you to become aware of the fact that you are aware. I want you to just become conscious of consciousness right now. Notice awareness in your body, awareness of your thoughts, awareness of physical sensations. Notice that your thoughts are kind of just playing out. You can't stop them at will. They just kind of come back after a few moments. And notice that these are just patterns that are just being carried out due to your subconscious, due to other aspects of yourself. And I want you to simply observe even your body tension and just be aware of it. Don't judge it or say good, bad, and start dividing into all these categories and stuff. Just observe what's happening. That's it. Become aware. That's it. Just get in touch with awareness. Get an actual feel for yourself in awareness. Like instead of awareness being behind the eyes, like there's something behind here looking out the eyes, actually bring it down into your body. Put awareness into your hand. Like allow your awareness to fully inhabit your hand. So you gotta sort of develop that like a muscle. Meditation is fantastic for doing that. But this awareness is going to be key in rewiring ourselves. Because as we're doing the habit, we're going unconscious. And step one to rewiring a dysfunctional habit is to become conscious of it and then have an intention to rewrite the pattern, because it's just a pattern that's playing itself out, kind of like a robot. Kind of like a machine. It's just going and it's just going. And unless you interrupt the pattern, become aware of it in real time as you're carrying out the pattern with the intention to rewrite the pattern, you'll never break it. Unless you do that, you're basically screwed. This method for rewiring habits is fantastic. And everyone who has rewired a habit has done this, whether they're aware of it or not. This is kind of like the pattern for rewriting patterns. This is basically the structure of rewriting habits. And it doesn't matter what your habit is, this is basically how to eliminate it. This is how to rewire yourself. And you can't do this once or twice. You'll notice that some habits have a stronger pull towards them depending on how much you have habituated them. There's all types of different habits, like body tension that's making you uncomfortable right now is a habit, and you can rewire that. You can rewire yourself so that you're not automatically sort of tense in your face, in your throat, and you're tight in your chest, tight in your abs, tight in your legs. You can rewire yourself so that you're not just carrying out this function, this sort of self-protective function that isn't very necessary most of the time. Or if you just eat too much chips or watch too much TV. Basically, this is how to do it. Step one is to become conscious of yourself as the pattern plays out. Step two is to just rewrite the pattern. And you have to be repetitive in this. Like I said, the subconscious mind basically gets programmed in two ways. Either stuff is downloaded into it or it's repetitively put into it. And most of your habits are just repetition. They're habits, they're habitual. And to undo them, you have to rewire them habitually. You have to rewrite the sort of script that is playing itself out. You got to sort of change the tape in the cassette deck and put in a new tape. So I hope you understand that. So 4, like I just said, is become conscious of the pattern with the intention to rewrite what is happening. It's not enough to just be aware of what's happening, but you have to have the intention to clean up what is happening, to clean yourself up. Number 5, this is basically a bonus. Watch what you give your attention to. Attention is power and awareness is freedom. The most valuable asset that you have is your awareness/attention. And awareness, in this video, I'll just make a distinction. Awareness is kind of just like this broad thing. It's aware of body sensations, visual field, emotion, thought. Whereas attention is like more of like this one-pointed, concentrated aspect of yourself. And I'm kind of just making a distinction between the two, although they're both really just aspects of awareness. But notice what you give your attention to, and notice how much sort of power you're giving things by giving attention to them. And that really, by becoming more conscious of yourself, you become more free. Awareness is freedom. Awareness gives you the power to be aware of something and change it to your liking. But the problem is that humans are deeply unconscious, and we have all sorts of subconscious processes and functions that are deeply dysfunctional. And we don't really become aware of them or have the intention to rewrite them. We simply sort of surrender to them, act like victims, and say that this is just what life is. I'm just screwed. Oh, I'm just socially anxious, depressed, lunatic maniac. I don't know, I'm kind of throwing up a stupid example just for fun. But you can apply that to your own life. It's actually rather difficult to, for example, clean out your diet. You'll notice there's a lot of pull towards certain foods that you've kind of just been conditioned to like. So I'm going to jump through this again. Number one is notice how your habits make you feel and how you judge yourself for doing the bad habit. And basically, we want to stop doing that. That's the first thing. First, embrace yourself and this moment fully. So we want to get in touch with awareness, get in touch with our thoughts, not just have them going on some repetitive self-guilt loop or judgmental loop. Just want to be aware of them, and you don't have to believe them. If a thought comes into your head, you can just let it go. Just discard it, another one arises, and then just let it go. Be aware of your body. Let yourself not be tense. So become conscious and present. That is a place of freedom and power. You're more aware now. Second is rewiring your subconscious mind. Like I said, it gets rewired or wired through downloads. That's usually at a young age, but now it's dominantly through repetition. You have to, if you want to rewire your subconscious mind, you have to repetitively do it. Let's say you want to go to the gym. You clearly have to make a habit of going to the gym. You got to wire it into yourself that I'm going to go to the gym today at noon, and then the next day at noon, and then the next day. And you wired into yourself a sort of daily routine of going to the gym instead of sitting down and eating potato chips and watching Netflix. Although there's nothing wrong with either one. They kind of just are what they are. But, you kind of just got to do whatever you think is serving you. If you want to sit down and eat potato chips all day, that's perfectly fine. There's going to be consequences to both paths, but if that's what you want to do, obviously, then knock yourself out. Have fun. So you want to rewire your subconscious mind through basically becoming aware and having an intention to rewrite what's happening. Moving on to the third one is toxic habits are behavioral patterns. We want to view ourselves as habitual creatures, realizing that a lot of our lives are just habits. We wake up, brush our teeth, eat, whatever your formula is. You wake up, you shower, you brush your teeth, you eat, whatever it is. I want you to realize how habituated you are. You have probably about the same breakfast every morning. Very similar day-to-day routines, and it's sort of just, this process is kind of just carrying itself out automatically. A lot of your thought patterns are, the same. They're patterns. A lot of your emotional patterns are patterns. It's just kind of the same thing on repeat. Your bad habits are kind of just patterns playing themselves out, kind of like a robot. It's just that you've wired yourself to function in this way, and now your subconscious has picked it up, and it's just carrying out the function. Kind of like when you wanted to learn how to walk, and you had no idea. You didn't know what to do with your legs, what to tense up, what to relax, how to move your upper body as you walk. So you kind of fell down, and then you got up, you tried it again, and you had to wire it into yourself over and over and over again until you were able to sort of understand it effortlessly, and your subconscious could kind of just walk. It could carry out the function without you needing to really put in a lot of effort anymore. So you need to rewire the subconscious mind. You need to become aware that you are deeply habitual, that your toxic habits are just patterns. The fourth point is become conscious of the pattern. Become aware of the pattern. Realize that the pattern is not you, that this pattern is just something that was conditioned inside of you, and that this pattern can be changed. By becoming aware of it, we can rewrite the pattern. So you got to become conscious of the pattern with the intention to rewrite what is happening. And as let's say your habit is, eating cookies. I got to sneeze. let's say your habit's eating cookies. When you feel a pull towards the cookie jar, become conscious in that moment. Become aware in that moment that, oh, this is the pattern that's just playing itself out. It's like I'm just habituated to feel that pull. Whereas now you redirect your attention somewhere else to broccoli and you eat the broccoli instead. So it's literally that simple. As the pattern is playing itself out, you wake up. Stop letting your subconscious just take over and carry out functions like some mechanical just machine. You become aware. Just get in touch with the pure awareness right now. That part of you that just witnesses without judging. Just get in touch with that. And as the pattern is playing itself out, wake up. That's it. Just wake up, redirect attention. Rewrite what's happening over and over again until that's naturally what's happening. That is how to develop a good habit and eliminate bad habits. So you need to become conscious with the intention to rewrite. The fifth is watch what you give your attention to. Attention is power and awareness is freedom. Like I said, by becoming more conscious, we have basically more capabilities, really. We can wire ourselves in all sorts of other ways. We become more aware of how things are working. There's just more stuff in our awareness. There's more creativity. There's more spontaneity. There's more freedom. There's more ability to express what's basically natural to you. There's more room for authenticity. So what you give your attention to is basically, that's your power, really. Your awareness is your most valuable asset. The level of your consciousness is the most important thing in the modern world. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions at all, leave them in the comment section below. I'll answer. Other than that, if you guys enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It helps YouTube to push out my content. I almost said consciousness. Kind of helps you to push out my consciousness as well. But other than that, good luck and have a great rest of the day.